Last night during our big book study, we read Dr. Bob's Nightmare. It's a pretty good story. I really enjoyed that story. You know, every time you read it, something new comes up that you just, you forgot about. You know, it definitely stays fresh in the mind as you're reading it. And, Dr. Bob, of course, talked about how he grew up in, during the Prohibition, and he was, smuggling in alcohol as he could. And, he would have this fear. He actually had two fears. One, of not sleeping. So that's why he would drink every night to make sure that he fell asleep. And then two, of not having any alcohol the next day. So I very much had that fear. I think every alcoholic has that fear, of waking up and not being able to have alcohol the next day. So he was just talking about, like, during the Prohibition, he was just kind of sneaking it, and he was sneaking it, in all these different ways. And he knew that he would have to kind of ration some of it because it wasn't as easily accessible. So he would, hold off on his morning drink so that way he knew he could sleep that night. Or if he knew that if he did, cave into that morning craving, he would be up all night because, it wasn't as readily accessible to him. So, I definitely, kind of related with that too, because I knew that when I was at work, I would buy my little 4-pack of wine, and I would probably end up drinking like 2 in the car, and so I would have 2 more with me, and I would have to ration it as well. I would be like, okay, so I have 3 more hours of work, so if I have 1 at this point in time and I have 1 at this point in time, then that'll at least give me enough time to get to here. Then I can go to the store again and get more alcohol. Like, it's the crazy thinking. Like, you almost think of it as like, if you're stranded on a desert island and you have 1 MRE and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I have a packet of chicken salad and pasta. I don't know, whatever. And you start thinking like, okay, so if I eat my chicken salad now, then I'll make it another 2 days, and then I can have my pasta on this day and have enough calories for that. And like, you're like literally changing your mind to like ration food and water to rationing alcohol. Like, it's insane how your body just puts it on like that basic level of a need that I have to have, that I'm already thinking of how I'm going to ration it just so that way I can continue throughout my day. So I liked it. I liked his story. He talked about how, we alcoholics always have a way of finding the finer women in life. Well, in my life, I found the most patient husband, because he's gone through me, through the ebbs and flows, the ups and the downs and everything else to go with it. And, when I was in my heaviest drinking, I told him that I had a problem with alcohol, that I was, physically dependent on that point. Like, I couldn't get up every day because I had the jitters so bad, I was shaking so bad, like, my body craved it, I couldn't go through my day. And so we actually attempted to try and, just kind of suffice it for the day, where we would have a bottle of vodka, and we would take a marker and we would mark on the bottle, where it was at. And he'd be like, okay, so you get 1 shot now, and then you can have this at this time, and, and so on and so forth. And, he tried. He really did. Like, he understood it. He knew what was going on. So, like, he tried to help me. And, magically that bottle would no longer become vodka. It was more just water at that point, because I was just drinking it and filling it back up with water, or I had a second bottle in the house that I was drinking afterwards. So, he was very patient with me. Of course, obviously, just like anybody else, you lose your patience, but, fortunately for me, alcoholic, did find a patient husband who was willing to, try and help me. So, I really enjoyed his story last night. It's always good to read how one of the co-founders of the big book had the same exact situations, the same exact scenarios, all of the ways that he used to do things. His sobriety date was in like 1935, and it's almost 2020. Like, that's like 85 years ago. So, he literally wrote a book 85 years ago that absolutely 100% relates to me today. It's insane. So, I'm excited for today. Today's day 5. Week's almost over. Hope everybody else has a great day, and I will see you this afternoon.